You can polish a pistol, slap on a red dot, and market it like a Navy SEAL sidearm, but when the dust hits the chamber, only one thing matters. Will it go bang every single time? Most folks get sold on looks, fancy features, or big brand hype, and then get burned when their $800 pistol jams on round 14. I've been there myself, and I swore never again. So today, I'm giving you the list. Not the flashiest, not the newest, but the most brutally dependable 9mm pistols money can buy in 2025. These are the guns that survive the heat, the grime, the cold, the neglect, and still fired back like nothing ever happened. Whether you're a first-time buyer or you carry every day, you'll want at least one of these pistols before the next ammo crunch. Let's get into this. Let's start this list with a gun that's been quietly dominating the concealed carry world for years now, the Glock 43X. I know, it doesn't scream tactical or high speed, but if we're talking reliability in a real-world EDC role, this thing is borderline boring in the best way possible. The 43X brings Glock's Gen 5 level reliability into a slim-line frame. It's got that compact slide with a slightly extended grip, which gives you 10+1 capacity without needing to stretch your fingers like you're holding a 2x4. But the real kicker? This thing just runs. Rain, sweat, dirt, whatever you throw at it, the 43X eats it up and keeps cycling regardless. I've seen folks drop this gun on concrete, roll it in sand, shove it into a sweaty waistband for weeks, and it still punches holes like clockwork. It's also one of the easiest striker-fired guns to train with for newer shooters. Not flashy or fancy, but you're not buying jewelry, you're buying a tool you bet your life on. And the Glock 43X, that bet is safe. Stick around, because what's coming next on this list, it's built like a tank, and I mean that literally. Nobody buys a Shadow 2 expecting it to fail. But in 2025, this competition-born beast is doing more than slapping targets. It's embarrassing full-size duty pistols with years of field experience. This ain't your polymer throwaway. The Shadow 2 is all steel, all business. The kind of gun you don't just shoot, you run. Slide rights low like it's on rails, trigger breaks like glass, and recoil non-existent. You point, you fire, you win. But here's what earned it a spot on this list. 5,000 plus round torture tests with no malfunctions, not even a hiccup. Reloads, smooth. Extractors, still biting. Frame, doesn't care if you dropped it in gravel or grease. This pistol was never meant to be forgiving. It just refuses to die. It's heavy, it's brutal, and it's exposing how soft most modern pistols have gotten. Coming up, a micro 9mm that's humiliating full-size guns in reliability drills. Don't look away. You want a shocker? This budget tier micro 9 has outlived more expensive guns in cold mud, repressed runs, and weekly drills that shoot up optics and internals. Nobody was betting on the Max 9 when it launched. Ruger wasn't chasing Glock, they were just trying to build something clean and carryable. What they ended up with? A micro-sized, optics-ready, no-nonsense 9mm that refuses to quit. The slide is tight, the internals don't rattle, the trigger isn't pretty, but it breaks when it needs to. We've seen shooters drop these in gravel, run them suppressed, feed them junk ammo, and still watch the damn thing cycle like it's clockwork. And yes, the optics mount holds zero, even after a full season of drawn-fire drills from a sweaty holster. Everyone thought the Max 9 would fade in 2025, but what ended up happening instead? It's quietly stacking a kill list of guns that cost double. Stick around, because what's coming next flips everything we thought we knew about striker-fired reliability. This thing's not just reliable, it's a straight-up submission device. The Walther PDP Pro doesn't whisper control, it enforces it with a full palm slap. The moment your hand locks in, it doesn't come out clean. That grip texture is like asphalt with a purpose. It bites and won't let go. But that's only foreplay. The real punishment starts when the trigger breaks. Short, surgical, and way too eager to snap again. It's not for hesitant shooters. This one's for those who demand precision under pressure and expect their gun to obey no matter the environment. And recoil? Laughable. It cycles flat like it's glued to a rail. Whether you're running optics, lights, or just bare bones frame on frame, the PDP Pro runs everything flawlessly. You can feed it junk ammo, drag it through dirt, and still it'll print like a surgeon on stimulants. This isn't some polished showpiece. It's a high-speed, low-drag dominance tool built for shooters who don't flinch. Reliable? No. Obedient. And after this one, let's just say things get historically dangerous. The Beretta 92X Performance doesn't just dominate, it manhandles the entire class of metal-framed pistols like it's owed something. This isn't for soft hands or casual flirtation at the range. The weight? Oppressive. The trigger? Way too responsive for first-timers. This gun forces you to commit with every round. You don't handle it, it handles you. From draw to double tap, it makes sure you feel the recoil, but then flattens it like it's been punished into submission by pure Italian steel. It's built like a weaponized engine block. You want delicate? Look elsewhere. This thing slams into battery like it's angry. And guess what? It runs dirty, runs hot, and never chokes. People try to break it, but they can't. Slide after slide, mag after mag, it just keeps going. It's not reliable in the textbook sense, it's reliable like a bouncer who likes violence. There's no playful tease here, no whisper of forgiveness. It forces performance even when you're off your game. And that is exactly why it's on this list. Because when the shooting gets serious, the 92X doesn't ask for your import, it just takes over. You know that feeling when something just doesn't add up? You've tested 5, maybe 6 pistols, one jams, another chokes on hollow points, and another feels like you're dry firing a stapler, and then you hold this. The Canik Mete TP9 SF Mete. No one sees it coming. No flashy heritage, no elite fan club. It wasn't supposed to be this good, but it is, and that's the part that rattles you. Because the second you put your hand around that grip and squeeze that trigger, clean break, tight reset, zero hesitation, you realize you've been lied to. All that name brand noise? Marketing fluff. This thing is surgical violence in polymer form, and it refuses to fail. Feed it trash ammo, go thousands of rounds without cleaning, drop it in the mud, rack it with one hand, run it like a rental, it'll just keep going. You try to break it, it stares you down and begs for more. So here's the twist. You were chasing reliability. SIGs, Glocks, the usual suspects, but the Canik Mete, that's the sleeper hit nobody wants to admit outperforms the big dogs. It didn't just pass the torture test, it broke the damn curve. Next up, a polymer pistol that got clowned on for being boring until it started smoking everything in its class. Let's just say I didn't treat this pistol like it was special. I dragged the Wilson Combat EDC X9 through hell. Didn't clean it, didn't baby it, didn't admire the machining or pretend I was holding a custom-built piece of art. I ran it like it was disposable. Steel plate, mud, cheap ammo, dirty reloads, hundreds of draws from a torn-up holster, over and over and over. It just wouldn't quit. This gun took it all and grinned. Not a single hiccup. I tried to make it stutter, even loaded rounds that would choke a Glock, but it cycled through them like it was insulted I even tried. The fit is so tight you'd expect failures under pressure. But nah, that thing locked up like a bank vault and spat out rounds like it hated targets. I wanted to find its breaking point, but never could. It's like kicking a racehorse to death and it just runs harder. This isn't a carry gun for the soft-hearted. It's a full-blooded war machine dressed in a suit. Most people pay for Wilson Combat so they can take photos. I paid for it so I can abuse it in public. And guess what? It still outshoots everything that I own. That's reliability you don't just trust, you fear it a little. There's tough, and then there's the Hellcat Pro. I didn't pick this thing up because of hype, don't get me wrong. I picked it up because I needed a carry gun that could take heat, grime, and pressure and still come up clean every single time. This is no range toy. The Hellcat Pro was built like it knew you'd run it hard. The slide is tuned just right, not sluggish or snappy, just tight and focused. It tracks flat and recovers like a full size even though it hides like a compact. I've run this thing in the summer, winter, and every kind of mess in between, and it's never coughed, not once. It doesn't care about ammo brands, doesn't care about clean hands or even clean guns. It'll run no matter what. And when it locks back on empty, you almost miss it because you were too busy trusting it. There's a reason why more and more folks are switching from the big names to this. It's not just compact, it's complete. But the next pistol we're about to cover, let's just say it's not flashy or loud, but it might be the most brutally dependable thing I've ever had to carry. Stay tuned. A couple of months back, I'm out in the woods with a buddy, middle of nowhere, testing gear in sub-freezing temps. Everything is soaked, fog rolling in, and this guy's Sig locks up after 40 rounds. He gives me that look. You know the one. So I toss him my MP9 2.0 compact metal. No words, just steel and trust. He dumps mag after mag. Wet gloves, zero oil, cheap ammo. No jams, no question. It just ran without a hitch. This gun doesn't care about your ego or your brand loyalty. It's got a recoil impulse that feels like you're pulling against a steel cable. Tight, snappy, and controlled. The flat-faced trigger is crisp and predictable. The grip texture, it'll sand your hands off before it slips. And that metal frame, that's where the difference lives. You feel every shot, but in a good way. It grounds you. You don't write this gun, you work with it. And since that day, my buddy's been shopping for one. Told him straight, you should have known better. And what's next? You've heard the name before, but what it just did in a 9,000 round torture test? Yeah, that changed everything. I watched a guy drop his Staccato P in slush, step on it by accident, curse like hell, then fire all 17 rounds through a frozen mag without a single failure. That's when I stopped calling it a race gun and started calling it a problem solver. This pistol doesn't care what you think about it. It's heavy, cocky, and costs more than your backup truck. But it'll eat recoil for breakfast and cycle garbage ammo like it's laughing right at you. It doesn't just run, you see, it obliterates the idea of malfunction. Doesn't matter if it's soaked, dropped, frozen, or choked with carbon. It just keeps going. The slide feels like a guillotine. The trigger breaks like tension before a fist fight. Every shot makes plastic guns feel like a dollar store imitation. If you're scared of a gun that makes you shoot better than you deserve, skip this one. If you're sick of excuses and want the last pistol standing, this is the one everyone bows to. Next up, something compact, ugly, reliable, and disturbingly cheap to run. You'll see. Last year, I watched a buddy's Glock 19 jam 3 times at a local shootout match. Mag full, good ammo, clean gun, still choked. The guy was embarrassed, tossed me the belt, told me to run it. I didn't. I pulled my own CZP-10C out of the holster and said, let me show you what reliability looks like. I ran 4 stages: mud, gravel, tight corners, 0 malfunctions. Didn't even wipe it down. It ran hotter than hell and twice as much. The slide chewed through carbon like it was protein. The recoil impulse, flat, fast, and pissed off. Every reset snapped back like it was daring me to miss. It shot cleaner than a tuned Glock ever could, and it was stock. Later that night, that same Glock guy bought a P10C online. Didn't even wait for payday. And to all the keyboard warriors, yeah, my Glock 19 runs perfect. This ain't about yours or mine. It's about what happens when one fails and the other keeps swinging. This is no Glock killer. It's what Glock should have been if they had the balls to change. Up next, the smoothest 9mm I've ever carried and somehow refuses to fail. Let's move on. Let me set this straight. I used to laugh at subcompacts. Always figured if your barrel looks shorter than your bell loop, you're just asking for trouble. But then I ran the X-Macro, and this damn thing rewired my brain. I ran it bone dry out of the box. No lube, no cleaning, straight to the dirt pit. 2 days later, after 800 rounds and a suppressor that could have cooked an egg, it still didn't choke. Not once, not even a slow reset. And it wasn't even babied. It got kicked, dropped, racked off my boot, and still held 0 with a red dot like it was glued to destiny. And this part, straight up wild. It shoots like a full size. Not almost, not pretty good for a small gun. Nope, it straight up bullies half the compact market in control and split time. That recoil system feels like someone slid sorcery into the frame. And no, this ain't paid praise. I've got 2 Glocks in my nightstand and a scar on my knuckle from the 43X slide bite. But when I need a gun that disappears under a hoodie and still shows up like a war dog, this is the one I grab. Next up, the most abused 9mm pistol I've ever owned, and it just refuses to kick the bucket. You ever see a pistol that gets abused so long it forgets it's supposed to fail? My Glock 19 Gen 5 is no range toy. It's a damn cockroach with a trigger. I've dropped it into gravel, rolled it under my truck seat, left it soaked in rain for days. It's got rust scars, grip gouges, and the slide's been racked off a fence post more times than I've cleaned it. Still runs every single time. One summer, I left it caked in carbon just to see what had happened. 1,200 rounds later, no hiccup, no lube, no mercy. I've seen other guns beg for a Q-tip. This one though, it spits lead and asks for more. The finish looks like it survived a bar fight in hell. The slide sounds like a war drum, and the only reason I haven't replaced it, you don't replace the devil you trust. It was never meant to be a Gucci gun, but when someone asks what to carry when the power's out and the cops aren't coming, this is what I toss on the table. You can dress up whatever clone you want, but this is the one they all pretend to be. Still think it's overrated? Good. That means mine'll still be running after yours chokes. This gun doesn't care about your feelings or your fancy red dots. It'll eat dirt, spit brass, and keep firing while other pistols are begging for lube and a reset. Effin didn't build the 509 Tactical for comfort. They built it for war. Literally. It was Effin's MHS bid to replace the Beretta M9, and even though the Army picked Sig, this thing didn't go quietly, it went tactical psycho. Threaded barrel, suppressor height sights, optics ready from day one, not some Me Too mod, and it survived thousands of rounds in military torture tests without flinching. I've watched this thing run suppressed, rain-soaked, bone-dry, and dragged across gravel. No hiccups, none whatsoever, just raw combat-grade reliability. It's not trying to be pretty or even trying to be ergonomic. It's trying to survive the kind of fight you hope never happens. One left to go, and it's the pistol the elite Glock crowd still won't admit exists, but it never fucking quits. Look, people say this is just a Gucci Glock. That's like calling a race-tuned Mustang a shiny Civic. This ain't no dressed-up Glock 19. It's a full-blown rework from the internals out, and it just won't stop running. Shadow Systems built the MR920 like they were pissed off. Stippling that sticks like glue even when wet. A trigger that snaps so clean it makes factory Glock triggers feel like broken toys. And internals that were built to survive apocalypse level abuse. I've watched this gun run steel-cased garbage ammo, bone dry with 1,500 rounds deep. No cleaning, no lube, and it never failed, not once. People love to hate it until they shoot one, then all of a sudden, their $700 striker-fired legend starts looking like dollar store gear. The MR920 wasn't built to impress fanboys. It was built to embarrass every gun it stands next to, and it does so quietly, violently, and repeatedly. Some of these pistols may not make headlines, they don't trend on Instagram, but they're still standing after thousands of rounds, while others gave up before the first mag was even empty. That's the difference between marketing and trust. If your life or freedom ever depends on one shot working, just one, I'd bet on any of the pistols that we talked about today. Drop your own trusted handgun in the comments. What's never let you down? And don't forget, there's a reason the military, the comps, and the guy who's owned 30 pistols all seem to end up with the same few names. I'm Steve, and I'll see you in the next one. So stay armed and stay sharp.